Remember, I have
I'd like to call our Dryden Township meeting to order, and I'd like to recognize our veterans. I know we have at least one, if there's anybody else in the audience, but thank you.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, April.
Here. Here. English.
Here.
Eaton.
Here.
We move on to public time.
You want to say anything, Roseanne?
no idea.
You've been told not to? Okay, I guess I can speak then. We're just wondering what's going on with the
Say
blight.
your name.
Lisa Urema, and I'm at 3401 Jonathan Road. We're just wondering what's happening with this blight situation on Jonathan Road. It's not getting any better.
Well,
And it's been going on for how long now? And we just are not getting any assistance here.
I do know that Ron is, he is working on it, and, he's written a letter, and it's been a while, but he was waiting until the trees, or the leaves were down to get better pictures, because he didn't have very good pictures, and, we just talked, so he's gonna be very thorough and go through with it, so he's on top of it.
One of the police officers had mentioned possibly getting a drone from the Metamora police station to see if they could use a drone. Do you know anything about that?
So I'm not aware of the specific conversation or under what circumstances the Metamora Township Police Department holds out their drone for use. With that being said, as far as what the law is on that issue, generally speaking, there are some nuances, but in general, the township is, because blight enforcement is a civil action and not a criminal action, generally speaking, that type of evidence is considered permissible in court if you get to that stage. Again, I don't have specifics as far as what training our officers have with using a drone. I don't know, I'm not aware of whether or not Metamora has a drone or under what circumstances they loan it out. I mean, there are some nuts and bolts that would have to be worked with there. In general, I will say one of the issues you run into, whether it's drone or whether it's footage taken from the road, when all the leaves are on the trees, it can hide a lot of blight. Whereas, we're in November, many of the leaves, but not all of them are off. In another 6 weeks here, it's going to be a lot easier to see, whether you're talking about from a road or from a drone, it's going to be a lot easier to see what's going on and make out specific shapes.
Well, the situation with this particular property is it's basically a junkyard or a dump behind the home. So it is a little bit more difficult to see from the road. But most importantly, the Lapeer County Road Commission was back there and retrieved 50 signs from the property, and they can tell you it was a junkyard. Along with the Dryden police officer will also tell you it is a junkyard back there. So we have two very legitimate people in positions that should be reliable sources to speak with. I'm not understanding why nothing's being done when part of our government has already been out there and witnessed it. And there's been no cleanup. I mean, Roseanne lives right next door, we're 4 houses down, and there's been no improvement. I mean, zero. It's ongoing.
Well, I can tell you, Ron is working on it, and like I said, he was waiting for the leaves to fall so he could get some better pictures of it, so he is.
Has anybody spoke to the road commission about what they witnessed back there? I mean, we had to testify in court against this kid because of the sign situation. I mean, this whole household is very problematic. It's criminal at this point. But we have 2 people that you can call that witnessed it. So, I mean, I don't know what more you need.
So one of the things that I will say when it comes to enforcement actions, obviously the township is not quick to run to court just simply because the cost involved. It's not cheap and the township bears the brunt of that. With that being said, when it is necessary to go to court, one of the things we have found, it's a cliche, but the saying, "a picture is worth 1,000 words" is absolutely true. And so I don't know under what circumstances the road commission went out there. I don't know whether or not they took any video or pictures of that, or whether that's anything that we would even be able to get our hands on. I mean, obviously, we don't have the ability to command road commission personnel to come in and
Can you
things like
ask
that.
them? Because they had stolen property that they're in the process of prosecuting them on, so photographs were most definitely taken.
And all of that is something that can be investigated. I will say from an evidentiary standpoint, it gets tricky because I can have the greatest pictures in the world, but if I can't show the chain of evidence to be able to get that in front of the court, it doesn't do me a lot of good. Now, again, is it possible to be able to do that? It may be that road commission personnel are willing to work with the township on that, and that is certainly something that our zoning administrator can have some conversations with them and see what they have, see what would be available. In general, when we're going into court, it tends to be best to be able to rely on evidence that has been generated by township personnel that we can turn around and say, okay, Mr. Zoning Administrator, you're going into court. This is part of your job. You're going into court and you're testifying as to, you saw pictures X, Y, and Z and took these things. Again, I'm not disagreeing, and it may be possible that some of that information would be able to be used as evidence, but it would depend upon what the road commission has and what they're willing to turn over to us.
I mean, the road commission was there along with the Dryden police, and they both witnessed it. You can witness it from Ruth Ann's property looking over into their backyard. From the road, it's a little bit more difficult, but all it would take is someone to enter Ruth Ann's house that's now burned down, allegedly from arson, and it's as clear as day. I'm astounded that nothing's being done. I don't know what other avenue to take. We've talked to everybody.
What if a homeowner got a drone for Christmas as a surprise and, went out and took pictures? I mean, can they bring those two or not, or?
I mean, again, there's evidentiary issues there just as far as I have, if I'm presenting that to court, number one, it tends to be pictures that are most effective in convincing a court that, okay, this is not just different people's different standards of living as far as how clean they want their backyard, but this is actually actionable blight. There would be some, is this homeowner, number one, how clearly can they testify? Number two, are they willing to testify and back up that they took these pictures and it's accurate representation? Under those circumstances, is there a possibility of using something like that? It's not out of the realm of possibility. I've dealt with blight situations where you'll have, where I have used citizens, photos or video or things like that citizens have taken that have shown violations of township ordinance. That is not out of the realm of possibility. It depends in large part on how willing they are to actually go to bat for the township and invest the time and effort that it takes to be able to do that.
So you're saying we can use a drone ourselves without asking the Metamora police?
I'm saying, at least theoretically, there is a potential. I am very careful about not necessarily recommending that. The last thing I want to do is foster an environment in the township where people are buzzing each other with drones and doing things that are problematic to each other. Because I realize that is an area that can get really dicey really fast.
Well, a house has already been burned down, so we're way past that.
I think this is a ordinance issue. There's not going to be a law enforcement drone that will be deployed on an ordinance issue. They're not going to do that.
That's interesting. A police officer said that they would check into it.
They can check into it, but I can tell you that I don't know of any law enforcement agency that's going to without some criminal aspect of it, deploy a drone for that, for flight.
Okay, so we're relying on our own photographs. Who do we take them to?
Ron is, our zoning administrator,
Mm-hmm.
is working on this. It's currently on his monthly report. And he is, like he said, he was waiting till the leaves fall to go out there and get pictures. So he is working on it.
But he'll be taking photographs from the road, correct?
I think he has Ruth Ann Fleury's, permission to take them from her property as well, so.
Okay, is he clear on that, Roseanne?
He has been there before, but he, has not contacted me in months.
Well, I think it's been in the emails that she would let him. It's been in there, so I'm just rephrasing or what he said in his report, that he is doing that.
So he will come out and take photographs and we can give him photographs as well.
Yeah, you could send him photographs.
Okay,
I would encourage you to not go on the blight property to take those photographs. You wanna take photographs from your property, that's one thing. I would encourage you to not go on the neighbor's property to take.
oh no,
those
they're dangerous people, I wouldn't dare. They're very dangerous people, yeah. Okay, all right, thank you.
I'm Ruth Ann Flory. I just want to mention that I took maybe 75 to 100 pictures already and gave them to Tina over the last 5, 6, 7 years. So this is just keeps going. We can take more pictures, but just look at the ones I gave you 5 years ago.
Anybody else for public time? We'll move on to approval of the agenda.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Is there any further comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Now we have the minutes from October 14th.
Motion to approve the minutes from October 14th.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We have payments of the bills.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
I'll second that.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We have correspondence from the Lapeer County EMS. Any questions about that? Anything else, Stephen?
Finished our, Oxford school election. Out of 277 voters, we had, 77 between the absentee and in-person voting. That's it, everything went good.
Good. All right, the treasurer's financial report.
You see everything's on there, is all of our CDs and CDers and savings and everything, so it's nice to get that on a monthly basis instead of quarterly, so that's all I have.
Do we have a motion to accept the financial report?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, you have the zoning report in your packet. And then next is, we'll start with the fire department report.
So for the month of October, we had 33 calls. They range between an agency assist, 20 ambulance calls, 1 domestic, 1 illegal fire, 1 message, which we're not exactly sure what that is, 2 officer calls, 2 personal injury accidents, 1 structure fire, 1 suicidal person, 1 utility problem, 1 vehicle fire, 1 welfare check, and 1 wire down. training for the month of October. October is when we do our extrication training. So the first training was 10-6, which is our medical training, and we do the extrication medical aspect of it, like inside the car, working on patients and stuff. On 10-9, we went over tools and techniques. On 10-16, we did an extrication scenario here behind Station 2, where they actually cut cars apart. Events for October, members provided medical coverage for both home football games and a cross-country meet. Several members joined training session that took place in Metamora. Metamora was able to get a house donated to them before they demolished it, where they got to smoke it up and do all kinds of training with it. Float testing was completed on October 17th for the air packs. They all passed and they're all good for another year. Members participated in the elementary school trunk or treat by passing out candy. And something that's not on your list, 12/21 yesterday had the new tires put on at Masters, and it's all good to go. Upcoming events, November 13th, we're doing ladder training. November 20th, we're doing RIT and search and rescue training. November 29th, we're doing pictures with Santa and the lighted parade in town. That's all I got.
Thank you. Move on to the police report.
For October, we had 300 calls for service. Officers conducted a total of 73 traffic stops for the month. Of those, 20 citations were issued to motorists. We had 10 traffic crashes in the township and the village this past month. 6 of those were property damage and 4 were personal injury. Our Dodge Durango patrol unit's been lettered. That's up to Badger Emergency Equipment. It's began the process of getting the equipment outfitted in it. So hopefully within the next month or so, we have that back with most of the equipment. Falls here, and I remind everybody, but we've got a high density of deer. Please slow down. There's one right out at Dryden Havens just a half an hour before the meeting. We get a lot of them that are unreported, and some people don't carry comp on their insurance, or they don't want their premiums to go, so they don't report them. Many times it's not just the deer running into the road, the deer gets hit and gets left in the road. So please go slow. I just don't want to see anybody hurt, and they do get hurt in car deer accidents sometimes, and it's avoidable if we just slow down many times. So traffic enforcement remains a high priority for officers, and again, especially in those school zones, the bus pickups, the start up and release from both the high school and the elementary. Halloween went well in the township, the village. Safe event. The department contributed and attended the trunk or treat at the Dryden Elementary on October 24th. Officers were busy on the village that night, and no reports of any vandalism, any negative things, all positive. So that's what we aim for. Officers also last month assisted on 22 medical calls in the township and 3 fire related. Obviously, last week on the 5th, officers from our department responded were to Trims Unlimited on Van Dyke and Elon Township. Officers from our department were among the first on scene and were instrumental in rendering aid to the victim, attempting first aid, securing the scene. They were also instrumental in the successful apprehension of the suspect, who at the time was at large situation, and I can't speak a lot about it, obviously, it's still ongoing. There's two parts of that investigation, really. You know, I'm just thankful that those things were mitigated. You know, you wish you could control more of that, but sometimes we're dealt the hand that we're dealt, and officers just do the best they can from there. So, that's all I have.
Thank you. All right. Next on our list is new and old business. We have the election test ballot bags.
I'd like to order four for $68 total. It just helps when we have our testing to have something. They have to be locked up, and right now I have like this, a small amount of papers are in one giant thing that's locked, and I can't unlock it and put more to it. So this is a good way just to keep those test ballots for that specific election together and not have a big box. It frees up room.
Right.
I'll make a motion to get the test ballot bags for $68 for 4 of them.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have zoning violation suit. This is in regards to let me get the address. 3741 Main Drive, which is zoned residential, and he's keeping chickens and other fowl, and it's on our report, and I think we've been talking about it for a while, so I think you guys are aware of it. But McKay is more handling it from your office, and he suggested that we get board a motion to go forward.
Bottom line on this is, Mr. Shoemaker has made valiant efforts to try to get them to come into compliance. He's contacted them multiple times. We have a paper trail of him contacting them. They're refusing to bring it into compliance. And so really the only lever the township is left with at this point is filing a lawsuit. So if that's the direction the board wants us to go, we have no problems doing that. We just wanted to make sure that was in fact the direction the board wanted us to go with that before we incur the work of actually drafting one. But if that's the direction you want us to go, we will work with Mr. Shoemaker to get the lawsuit drafted and filed.
Yeah, it's important that we move forward.
It's a significant number of birds.
Yeah.
My understanding is it was over 15 on a very small one.
By the city.
Basically.
I'll make a motion to file the zoning violation suit against 3741.
Is there further discussion? All's in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. And we have a resolution to amend the 2025 budget. You wanted to speak to that, Sue?
Yes, and this was due to the grant that April received. In order to put it into our revenue, we have to expand our revenue. In order to get it out of that particular expense, we have to increase that expense. So those two chart account numbers, we just have to increase both of them to accommodate the grant from the American Disabilities Act that April applied for and received for the entrances of the doors, the automatic doors, which have been very helpful to quite a few residents already. So I had called our auditor just to make sure what accounts and so forth they needed to go into, and this is what he recommended. So,
Do we have a motion to approve the resolution?
A second.
wanna take the roll call? That's what you have on there.
Sue,
Yes.
We are.
Okay.
Carol,
Because this is,
Yes.
this is.
Yes. Motion passed. The next item is the 2026 scheduled meetings. I think everything occurs on the regular second Tuesday for the township board, the third Wednesday for the planning, and then the zoning board of appeals meets upon Mondays on per request. So,
I'll make a motion to accept the scheduled meetings for 2026.
is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Open it back up for public time.
There's too much to say for that. You guys are gonna go to court over 15 chickens, but this guy's got all this junk in the backyard. Vehicles that are not running, no tabs. I mean, there are campers, there are tanks, there's all sorts of stuff back there sitting on a waterway, and you guys are gonna go to court over 15 chickens. This is just mind blowing.
Well,
I don't know what to say.
I think Ron is doing a very good job as our zoning administrator, and he's trying to get everything in row to do this, because it's going to be a big case when we do move forward. So, I think he is doing the job, and if you wanna talk to him,
I've emailed them, I've tried everybody. I mean, the road commission is the easiest to talk to, otherwise it just doesn't, it falls on deaf ears. But I mean, if you say it's moving forward, I will trust you, Tina, I will trust you, but I mean, this is years, and you guys are gonna go to court over 15 chickens when we live in a rural community. I mean, this is mind blowing.
well, the person with the chickens lives in a residential, so that's less than 1 acre. It's a different situation. And he is following through, and it didn't happen overnight. So, it takes time.
Like 5 years time. Her house got burned to the ground. She lost $1 million. She has lost
Everything that she owns.
She owns a pair of sneakers and a pair of sweats. That's what she got out of that house, luckily, and 2 dogs. The cats got fried. It is amazing that, we're gonna bring a lawsuit to the chicken guy. They burned her house to the ground. This kid burned her house to the ground. It was arson. He firebombed her house, and we're like, we're gonna get Ron on. It's been 5 years.
Because of these complaints
This has
that
been
keep going, every time they get a letter, every time the police come out, her mailbox gets smashed. Today now, because the court situation happened, someone came and they're trying to cut down a tree in her front yard. There's saw marks all around a tree that happened in the middle of the night. I mean, this is like we're living in the twilight zone on Jonathan Road, and nobody's doing anything. It's crazy town.
Well, Ron is moving forward, and there's 2 separate issues there. One of them's the criminal side, and one is the civil side with the blight. So there's 2 different issues, and we're not in charge of the criminal side.
No, but it has escalated every
Into the criminal
time
side.
because calls are made, the police go out, there's blight guy, a letter, and then nobody follows through on it. They had 6 months to clean it up. There was no follow through on it. So it keeps escalating.
She's hired an attorney. Now the kid is mad at her. So now her tree is caught. All the cat boxes were smashed.
Yeah.
So things are happening at her house because she's not there, because there is no house. She's living in a barn. She's living in a barn because the kid burned her house down, because no one did anything here to say, hey, so instead of them, if he'd have firebombed the township hall, maybe something would have happened. He firebombed her house because she's complaining about it. He sees her as being the problem. The kid is obviously fetal alcohol or something. He's not there, and he's a problem. So he's lashing out at her because no one did anything here, and he thinks she's the problem. But if the township would have lashed out, let him come firebomb the township hall. This is really frustrating. It really is. And then when you talk about 15 chickens, or we're going to bring a lawsuit against the guy because was he harming the neighbor's property value? She just lost $1 million. Like she has trouble with the insurance company isn't giving her what it's
escalated beyond repair at this point. But can you please take care of the blight situation? That's all we're asking. Go back in your records. How many times we've come in here? How many neighbors have called? How many neighbors have called about this blight?
How many forms do we fill out?
I mean, this is crazy. And to sit here with a straight face, it's got 15 chickens, well, humdinger. This seems insane. If you were sitting here, you would realize how insane this sounds when we're living on a road with this kid. And it just doesn't get any better. I don't know what we have to do. Do we have to call the newspaper? What do we have to do? We have to start hiring people with drones because the township won't do it? You're putting us in a really bad situation, and that's why she's in the situation she's at. He'll be coming after us next because our name is on the sign thing. So he'll be coming to our house next. Something's got to be done about this situation. It shouldn't be left up to the neighbors, and that's what's happened. So every time a police officer comes out, something else gets crashed down out there. She'll have the police out tomorrow because a tree now has been cut and it's hovering over Jonathan Woods. Someone took a chainsaw in the middle of the night, hoping that it falls down on the road. It's terrorism that's going on down there. It's insane. He'll blow off guns in the middle of the night. You call the police, he skedaddles. No one knows where he's at. It's just, I don't know what you guys want us to do, but we don't feel like you're taking care of it on your end. You keep saying that some guy's gonna come and take pictures. I know Ruth Ann has sent oodles of pictures. We can go get a drone tomorrow if you think that'll make a difference. But something has got to be done. It just has to. We have cameras all over our property now because we're waiting for this punk to come down to our house. That's not what we're dealing with. We've got gates closed all the time with cameras all over our property. We live on 50 acres. Why do we have cameras all over? Because of one kid. And no one will do anything. Even though the police have witnessed it and the road commission have witnessed it, go talk to them. They will be happy to talk to you about it. We all had to go to court together. Everybody knows what's going on down there and no one will do anything.
Look, obviously there are limits to, and I sympathize with those problems you're dealing with. The township, obviously, some of the stuff you're describing, firebombing, terrorism, cutting down trees, these types of things, all of the criminal acts absolutely need to be investigated and they need to be dealt with through the criminal process, but that's not really within the bailiwick of the township board. The township board has the ability to look into blight things, and that's what Mr. Shoemaker is in the process of doing, and I certainly look forward to his report later this month. I'm sure you will look forward to that as well. But there are, the hard part about this from the township's perspective is even if we go after them and we make them clean up the campers and the cars and this type of stuff, if you've got somebody out there who is vandalizing other people's property, that doesn't necessarily stop that. That's not really something that the township has the ability, that's a criminal issue, and that's something that needs to be dealt with at the prosecutor's level.
I understand that, but every time there's a complaint, it gets taken out on somebody else because there's no follow-up on it. There has been multiple complaints. We had, I don't know how many neighbors come in here one night. Everybody has called, everybody has spoke up, and nothing is done. And so every time a new complaint is made, it just fires this kid up again because nothing is done about it.
And he thinks Ruth Ann is the only one who's complaining. There's nothing happening from anywhere else. Ruth Ann is the only one who's getting an attorney, hiring an attorney, and he thinks she's the problem. And so he's reacting. All this criminal, I blame that nothing was done about the blight from here, that she had to go personally and go do that, and then now the kid is mad at her. Well, she doesn't live there anymore because you can't live in the house, obviously. And now you have property that, who's gonna buy the house? Who's gonna buy the property? I'd never buy that property. How many people came to your house and said, this is a beautiful house, but what's that?
Probably 100.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
call
she couldn't
any
sell her
realtor
house.
around here. If you stand in the back of her property, it was a $2 million home, you stand in the back of her property and you're overlooking a dump. Any one of you should drive out there. Her property's vacant now, there's a burned down house. Drive up the driveway and walk over there and look. Talk to any realtor out here, call Carol Peretta. She'll tell you, good luck selling this property. She'll never be able to sell the property. It is a dump, you guys, it's a dump, and it's on a waterway. I don't know. This is just beyond frustrating. We've come here so many times, we've called, we've sent emails, we've brought all the neighbors. I don't know what else to do.
Filled out all their forms.
She's hired an attorney because of this. This is insane. It's November. Take photos. If you need us to take photos, we will. But something's got to be done. And you're going to take somebody to court for chickens, but not deal with this. This is
No, we
nuts.
are dealing with this, and Ron is just on our current report and said he was doing this, so that's what I'm relaying to you. So the other part is, like I said, the other part is criminal.
So by the end of the month, will a report be made on this? Is that what you're saying? That by the end of this month, the end of November, a report will be made on this blight situation? Is that what you're saying or no?
What do you mean a report will be made?
You just said that he's putting together a report on it with photographs and whatever.
No. Every month he gives us a report of what he's working on, and I paraphrase what he's working on that right now, and he is in the process of taking pictures out there.
So at the end of this month, he will have something for this.
Yeah, he's already working on it. Yes.
All right, so by the end of November, we will have something, correct?
I don't know what you mean by have something. He will
Photographs to bring to
yes.
you for you to determine if it's
Yes, he will
It's
have
blight.
photographs. Yes. Yes.
and then he will bring them to you. Is this the process that he will bring them to you and you will determine as a group whether this is blight or not and whether to press forward, or will you give him another warning where he has 6 months to clean it up again? Where does this go from here? Can you explain the process?
Well, he's usually the attorneys have him start with another letter. He's already sent out one letter this year. They usually have him send out one more.
They had letters before that.
But he had letters before, now it's November. There was no follow-up on that letter. We know when the letter happened because there was damage done to her property right after he got the letter. I mean, this is like clockwork. So, you guys are gonna determine whether it's blight or not when he takes photographs. And then what?
And then it moves forward to this process.
What's
It
that?
goes through this process. Whatever the attorneys say, they usually, I don't know what stage it's at.
I don't want to sugarcoat things. The legal process is an expensive process. It's a hard process to get a judge to come down and say, you must do this with your property. That's not an easy process to go through. It's a doable process. It's one that can be done. It's not an easy process, and it's not necessarily a fast process. So procedurally, the way this works, we get a report from Mr. Shoemaker, then there's a determination, does it make sense to give them a letter, say, look, I want X, Y, and Z done, and you have X amount of time in order to do it. At this point, obviously, I think that the feeling from the floor, obviously, is that if there is more warnings given or more time given, that needs to be relatively short, and I certainly understand your feelings on that. Ultimately, if this can be taken care of in a collaborative fashion where the person does it, spends their own money to fix the problem, that is obviously preferable. If that's not possible and they're just ignoring things, sometimes we'll see situations where there are efforts made, there is some cleanup done, and you wind up extending that. It depends upon the facts of the situation. If you have somebody who's just stonewalling and is a complete, we're not going to do this, drop dead, then at that point it comes to the township board, and the board has to make a decision, is this something that the township believes has a strong case and believes that they should be able to need to move forward with filing a lawsuit. Filing a lawsuit, I'm gonna be honest with you, is not a silver bullet. It's not something where we file a lawsuit in November or first part of December and the property is magically cleaned up by New Year's. It just doesn't happen that way. You have a period of discovery that you have to go through. Sometimes, if people are willing to work with you and sign consent judgments, there's a conversation there, but typically you're looking at a even once a lawsuit's filed, you're looking at a 8 to 10 month period minimum before you get to a situation where a judge is making a ruling on things.
But 8 to 10 months at this point is nothing. I mean, when was that letter written? And there was supposed to be a 6-month time span for him to clean it up, and it wasn't. And then nothing happened.
Well, I think we've kind of told you where Ron's at, and if you want, you can talk to him yourself, or I'm going to relay what you said at the meeting, but he is in the process of doing this, so.
Okay, I have his email. Is there a way to contact him? Where I can call him? Can I meet him out there? How can I help to move this forward? What can I do?
I would just call him on Monday or email him and offer your services.
He told me he only works, I think, 1 day a week. So when I emailed him, it took a week for an email to get back telling me that he only works 1 day a week. So,
All
this is
right,
exhausting.
Something bad's gonna happen.
Yeah, something bad's gonna happen. If this guy lived next to any one of you, this would not go this way.
This is
If
crazy.
this was your neighbor, this would not go this way.
She lives by herself, or lived there by herself. She won't live there again, but she lived there by herself. If there was somebody like 6 or 8 of the other neighbors that I know around, this would have turned into a mess. It would have turned into something very criminal. It would absolutely, none of you would live next to this guy. Not one of you.
And she won't be able to
Not
sell
one
the
of you.
property. So she is
So-
stuck. She is stuck because nothing will be done.
It's sad. This is sad.
Wow.
I'm gonna adjourn the meeting.
Yeah. Thanks.
That's rotten.